can you explain the coincidence of the scent of cadaver felt by British and not Portuguese dogs?
Sandra, maybe you should be asking the judiciary because they've examined all this.
But don't you have an explanation for that?
We're obviously Madeleine's mum and dad, and we're desperate for people to help us find Madeleine, which is why we're here today. The majority of people are inherently good, and I believe the majority of people in Portugal are inherently good people, and we're asking them if they'll help us spread this message to that person or people.
So you don't have any explanation for that?
Ask the dogs, Sandra.
Ask the dogs, no, Jerry. Now I think that I feel free to ask you. Don't you feel free to answer me?
I can tell you that we've obviously looked at evidence about cadaver dogs, and they're incredibly unreliable.
Unreliable?
Cadaver dogs, yes. That's what the evidence shows. If they're tested scientifically.
You read the files, Kate?
Concerning this blood trace that was found inside the apartment, there is any possibility of that belonging to Madeleine? Did any time she had any accident inside the apartment that can make it happen?
First of all, we don't actually know there was blood inside the apartment, and I think at the minute there's a lot of speculation going on. And I mean, I think speculation is quite damaging. We realised that early on.
Did you give to your kids something like Copol to help them sleep?
We're not going to comment on anything, but, there is absolutely no way we used any sedative drugs or anything like that. And, we have cooperated fully with the police. We'll answer any queries, any tests that they want to do, any
Kate McCann ainda se recusa a voltar à Praia da Luz para reconstituir a noite em que Madeleine desapareceu. Lisboa foi por isso o palco escolhido para escutarmos pela primeira vez, na primeira pessoa, a versão da história que intrigou a PJ. When you got into the apartment at 10 p.m. And you didn't see Madeleine, you just ran to shouting that she was missing? Weren't you afraid to leave Sean and Emily behind? What crossed your mind?
Well, first of all, I didn't just walk in and notice she'd gone. It was the fact that the door was open to the bedroom quite wide. When I went to close the door, it slammed. And that's when I noticed that Madeleine was there. And then I thought she'd wandered through to our bed, so I went through to our room and she wasn't there. And then I went back in again. And then I just literally flew around the apartment once I realised that the window was open and the shutter was off. Flew around the apartment and I just flew, I don't know, I just ran out. I mean, I knew I could be there in seconds and I just screamed as soon as I saw the table, I screamed.
But now when you look back, you realise it could have been dangerous for Sean and Emily to let them behind?
I don't think that's right. And
certainly in medical training, the first thing you get taught in an emergency situation is to call for help. And that's part of that gets drummed into you.
So it wasn't that a reaction?
No, it's one of the things that it should be considered for us, but I think most people would react like that.
Never crossed your mind, Madeline wouldn't be able to cross the door just looking after you, alone?
If I can just explain what I found, the shutters, which had been down all week, and when I went in and there was a gust that blew the curtains open, that's when I noticed that the shutter had been pulled up.
So you have no doubt she was taken from the bed?
A 3-year-old would not be able to do that.
If you're saying, is it theoretically possible Madeline left the apartment, then yes. Do we believe it, and do we think she was capable of leaving the apartment the way it was found? And by which exit did she leave? Then I would say absolutely not.
What is your worst nightmare when you go to bed?
I don't have many nightmares. The real life is bad enough without dreaming of worse ones, but you know, the worst nightmare was the first few days.
The first few days, when you realized she was gone?
Well, we realised she was gone immediately, but the worst nightmare is that she was taken and killed. That's our worst nightmare. I don't think that is the most likely situation. I think it's less likely than her being alive. But we need to find, and we need to find who took her. There is someone who's committed a heinous crime and has almost led to the destruction of a family.
I think Joe's touching on it. It's really important to remember somebody has committed an evil crime. This is a 4-year-old little girl who's been taken from her bed. You know, it's an awful crime, and that person's still out there. And these people don't do these crimes as a one-off.